don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. Do you know who this was said by? Well, today we will be talking about Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman in Congress. Shirley Anita St. Hill was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1924. When she was 3, her parents had money problems, so she and her 2 younger sisters were sent to Barbados to live with their strict Quaker grandmother. Her grandmother taught her that she was a leader. She also taught her to work hard in school. When she was 10, Shirley went back to Brooklyn to live with her parents. Her father, who only had a 5th grade education, read everything he could find. He gave Shirley this love of knowledge. Money was still tight, but both parents worked hard to give their daughters lessons and schooling. In 1942, Shirley went to Brooklyn College, where she trained to be a teacher, thinking there was no other job for a young Black woman. After graduation, she taught for 7 years. She also went to night school at Columbia University to get a master's degree. Shirley's political career began in 1964, where she was elected to the New York State Assembly. She was the first African American assembly member from Brooklyn. Chisholm was re-elected twice. When in the assembly, she wrote bills to help the poor. One bill made it possible for poor young people to go to college. Another created unemployment insurance for domestic workers. In 1968, she ran for the U.S. Congress. It was an uphill battle. There were those who were against her because of her race, but there were even more against her because she was a woman. Both men and women told her she should go back to teaching, which was women's work, and leave the politics to men. But Shirley refused to leave politics to men. She built on the success of earlier women's rights workers such as Sojourner Truth, Ida B. Wells Barnett, and Mary McLeod Bethune. She had little money to campaign, but she made it up with hard work. In 1968, she was elected by a wide margin. Her election made her a symbol of power for women, especially Black women. 4 years later, other Black women were elected to Congress. Barbara Jordan was elected from Texas, Cardis Collins came from Illinois, and Yvonne Berg won California. Shirley had opened the door for women of all races to enter politics. In 1972, Shirley tried to go a step higher. She tried to win the Democratic Party nomination for President of the United States, but she lost to George McGovern. But she paved the way for Jesse Jackson to try for the nomination in the 80s. Shirley was still a member of Congress, and she kept working for African American and feminist causes. She worked for programs that would help the poor, such as raising the minimum wage, and worked on bills to provide medical care and food for the needy. She also sponsored a bill to pay for the memorial of Mary McLeod Bethune. This was the first time federal funds had been used for a memorial honoring an African American. In 1982, Chisholm retired from Congress, but she stayed active as an elder stateswoman. She became a professor at Mount Holyoke College, and she formed the National Political Congress of Black Women. As its leader, she remained a powerful force in politics. Shirley Chisholm will be remembered as the first African American congresswoman. She will be remembered for her bid to win the presidency, but she would really like to be remembered as a daring, determined woman who happened to be Black and was a catalyst for change in the 20th century. And remember, here is a door to our past, but it is only a window for our future.